Hi there guys, we're back with another video, and today I want to talk about my theories for Peacemaker Season 2. So yeah, just give my first off thoughts on the first 3 episodes. I think they were really good so far. I'm probably going to do an end of season, like, review of the entire season when the season ends, so yeah. But I thought that the first 3 episodes were really good so far. I thought they were really funny with, Tim Meadows' character and Vigilante and all that stuff. I thought it was just a really funny 3 episodes. And go with the story stuff, but yeah, this is mainly my theories for it. So first off, the alternate universe, I think it's pretty clear where they're going with this. It's pretty clear that it's probably gonna be a racist universe, and because first off, I had this theory a little bit ago, because they had his dad, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense that he would be racist, and obviously he can't pick this universe. He has to stay in his own universe, so yeah. And everything seems just way too perfect here. It's more colorful, like all this other stuff, but it just seems too perfect, right? So yeah, like everybody loves Peacemaker and stuff. It just seems too perfect. Obviously there's gonna be some dark twist, and it's obviously probably gonna be the racist twist. And even this episode, me and my brother both kind of had the same theory, so we were looking around, seeing if there were, seeing if there were any, seeing if there were any people of color in the background, and we didn't see any. So maybe there were, but I didn't see any as background extras, which is pretty telling, because usually, it's a pretty heavy coincidence that this universe that seems like it's going to be racist doesn't have any background extras and is not racist. That's a pretty heavy coincidence. And with the Sons of Liberty, they're a terrorist organization in the comics, and that's what they want you to think. But I'm pretty sure they're probably just going to be, like freedom fighters, instead of terrorists. In which case then, Peacemaker killed a bunch of good people. Yeah, like, this universe seems perfect. Everything seems great. Rick Flag's alive, all this stuff. His brother's alive, and it's obviously there's going to be some sort of dark twist. So yeah. It does seem like it's probably going to be that this universe is racist, and that the alternate universe version of Peacemaker, Amelia Hardcore, Rick Flag, his dad, his brother, they're all going to be racist, right? So yeah, that's probably what this universe is going to be. But just talking about that's probably going to be a twist here. But what I think is going to happen is with the cameos, because we know that there's going to be a big cameo at the end of the show, and I'm going to be honest, I think there's going to be 4 big cameos. I think he's hinted at maybe 1 or maybe a couple. I don't know, but the point is, we know there's going to be at least 1 big cameo at the end of the show. So first off, for connectivity, okay, well, no. Okay, so yeah, I think in one of the last episodes, we know that the last 3 episodes are really big and have a lot of shocking stuff. So that's probably they're gonna reveal the entire racist thing. Also, one more thing, that a lot of people think that the other universe might be Earth X, because that's the one where the Nazis won the war and stuff. So yeah, it might be Earth X. It might just be like a white supremacist universe. Who knows? It could be 1,000 different universes of what it could be. But yeah. So yeah. But yeah, a lot of people think, what could be this ending, with the entire thing. So people might what's gonna be the cameo, right? So I've heard a lot of theories. I don't think it's gonna be Blue Beetle. Lobo, that's just a bad one. I don't think it's gonna be Jon Stewart, because why would Jon Stewart be there? Because Jon Stewart isn't gonna be introduced in Lanterns. So if anybody, it would be Hal Jordan, but I don't even think Hal Jordan would be here. Because yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a Green Lantern. It's probably not gonna be Guy, because Guy was featured at the start of the series. So yeah, there are about 1,000 different answers for who it could be. But first off, I think that this isn't gonna be the last episode. This is gonna be like second or third last episode. Where in the trailers, we know that Rick Flag Sr. goes to visit somebody in Belle Reeves prison, making all the Suicide Squad stuff. And then I just thought, and it was probably just gonna be Red Saint Wild, who'd probably be locked up, and he would get informant to go hunt down Eagly. No, we did not see that happen, unless we're getting flashbacks to how we did all this. which I don't think we're gonna get. That seems like it would be a different character. Now it could be a cameo from a Creature Commando, specifically maybe the Bride, because obviously Rick Flag Sr. was one of the Creature Commandos. So it could be a cameo from one of the surviving Creature Commandos. But yeah, a lot of those Creature Commandos' powers can't really. It would be pretty hard and pretty expensive to be brought into live action just for a cameo, right? It would complicate stuff if they did that, right? So I don't think they're gonna do that. Rather, what I think they're gonna do is think he's gonna visit Lex Luthor, because they had an emphasis at the end of Superman, bring his bald ass to Belle Reeves. It said that Belle Reeves was very emphasized. It's obviously a reference to the Suicide Squad because that's a prison. So I think it might just be he's probably gonna visit Lex Luthor, and it makes sense because obviously Peacemaker has a pocket universe, and Lex Luthor built a pocket universe that then went off the rails, which is why they emphasized it on him so much. So yeah, I think that we're gonna see him, and I think his deal with Lex Luthor to help him out with the whole pocket universe issue. I think his deal is gonna be, help me out with this, and I'll let you go free. You'll be pardoned for your crimes, right? Which would then directly set a Man of Tomorrow, which I think James Gunn has said that the end of Peacemaker season 2 will directly set up Man of Tomorrow, right? And Man of Tomorrow is a new Superman movie. Which is like, it's this pseudo sequel where it's gonna have Lex and Superman potentially teaming up. It's 1,000 different things. They might team up, they might fight, but we know that Lex and Superman are gonna be in the movie, and Lex is gonna wear his power armor, right? So I think it's pretty clear that Lex will be out of prison. So yeah, I think that we will probably see Lex at the end of the show get out of prison because of like the entire thing, because Rick Flag would pardon him for doing that, right? So yeah, that's one of my theories. The other theory is that I think we're gonna see the other lead of Superman, obviously, but yeah, I think we're gonna see him in the ending. We might see Mr. Terrific. I don't know, but I feel like that would Mr. Terrific would be just fit. But that's not one of my theories. We might see him, but I don't know. Right, because we've already seen the rest of the Justice Gang besides Metamorpho, who wasn't a part, whatever, and who wasn't a part of it at that point of Peacemaker season 1, whatever. But yeah, it does lead me to think that I think we're going to see Superman here, because there was a rumor like years back, like 2023, that at the end of the show we would see Superman, somebody else, and somebody else, and we'll talk about those two after this, but everybody was like, this probably isn't real, whatever. But it seems like there's a really, really high chance that Superman will cameo at the end of Peacemaker Season 2. I even think David Cornsweet took a picture with the actor of Adebayo. So yeah, that just contributes more. So yeah. Oh, also it's a cameo that it's essentially been confirmed. These aren't one of the big cameos. They probably won't happen towards the end. One of them has been confirmed. Or one of those guys in from Luthor Corps. He was like the guy with the mustache who was like trying to stop Lex from creating the rift. That guy. We've seen him in the trailers for Peacemaker Season 2, and we also seen him in a backstage thing with in the background of them doing an interview with Frank Grillo. And another person who was in that same backstage thing was Otis. He actually plays Otis. So it seems like Otis will also be cameoing. So yeah, I like that. But yeah, so yeah, the Superman thing, it does seem like it will be happening. It just makes sense for Superman to cameo. I mean, it will just heavily make sense. I mean, even Peacemaker cameoed in Superman. So yeah, it probably will happen. If I were to bet money, I would bet that this is probably the most certain one. And the other one, the next one, because there's 4 that I'm thinking of, is one of the other ones mentioned on that rumor leak, whatever, of Peacemaker Season 2, who would cameo in it, and that's Bloodsport. And Bloodsport looks like he's appearing, right? Because they've obviously had a bunch of references to the Suicide Squad. We've seen literally scenes from the Suicide Squad just put in the show. So it would really make sense if if he was actually going to cameo. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. Bloodsport will probably cameo at the end. He had a relationship with Peacemaker in that. So we'll probably see Bloodsport at the end of in like the last episode. I'm assuming Suman, Bloodsport, and this other character will be in the last episode. But yeah, we'll probably see him. And then the final one, the oddest pick of all. I haven't seen like anybody talk about it. Who was the last one mentioned in that theory that they would appear here, and it seems very odd. But this is even suggesting more. It even suggests a more Bloodsport pick, which doesn't have a lot of evidence, and Superman pick, because that whole rumor is that recently Chris Pratt has been spotted on this, like he was on, we've seen from like promotional videos and stuff that he was there when they were filming Superman and Peacemaker season 2, because they filmed at the same time. Also, David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult. It would be very easy for them to like just be like, for James gonna be like, hey, can you just step aside for like 5 minutes, like for like, I don't know, like an hour or two, to come film this scene for Peacemaker season 2, because they were filming at the exact same time, so it would really make sense for them to be able to get him. Yeah, so we know Chris Pratt was there, right? Which, it could just be a visit from Frank, because they worked together on the Guardians movies. They were friends and all that stuff. So yeah, they could just be that, whatever. But however, a lot of people probably think you know where this is going, and you probably don't. But yeah. But however, we know that Chris Pratt knew stuff about Superman while it was getting made, right? I mean, he in an interview for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it was an interview with James Gunn and Chris Pratt. They were making a joke about how Chris Pratt was going to play Krypto in the new Superman movie, and they ended that interview with Chris Pratt saying, this might lead to you thinking that a certain dog will be in the Superman movie. He said something like that. And then, what you know, Krypto was in the new Superman movie. So yeah, that was pretty obvious. So he was obviously at least slightly involved. He was knowing about what was going on. That was before James Gunn officially confirmed that Krypto was going to be in Superman. So yeah. And yeah, with all this stuff, and a lot of people think that he's going to be playing Batman. He's not. I don't think he's playing Batman. A lot of people think that this is going to be the introduction of Batman. No. Okay, first off, no way anybody in their right mind would cast Chris Pratt as Batman. And I know, a lot of people have been like, oh, well, Heath Ledger's a Joker. People didn't think you could do a good job. Michael Keaton's Batman. There are a lot of Batman casting instances, Robert Pattinson as Batman, where people thought, there's no way they could play a good character. And they did a really good job. But however, I think that even now, you're going to have to wait till years until he actually really appears beyond more of a cameo than Batman. Right? So yeah, he also just doesn't look the part. He has like kind of like a beard stuff, so that wouldn't make sense. Batman should definitely be clean shaven. It just wouldn't make sense for Batman to be here, really. It wouldn't at all. For them to reveal the casting of Batman in Peacemaker season 2. I just don't think they would do it, okay? And also, not to mention that they've talked about how, James Gunn has said, never say never to the Batman being connected into the DCU. He's said many times, it's not happening. But recently his attitude has changed. He's been like, I guess there's a chance of it happening, right? And it's like, why would he say that if he already filmed the scene with the new Batman, right? So, no, we're not doing that, right? So with that, I think that he will play it. He will be in this, and he will be from that post or leak or whatever, right? And I think that the character he's playing was mentioned in that will be Green Arrow. Green Arrow just makes perfect sense. First off, not only was he mentioned in Peacemaker season 1, he was mentioned at the end of it. I know we don't technically know that was canon, but it probably was. And and in that leak, it was said that Green Arrow would appear alongside Bloodsport and Superman seems more and more likely. And the whole Chris Pratt thing makes me think that Chris Pratt would be playing Green Arrow. First off, not only does he look like him, he has the right hair color, which is something that he doesn't have for Batman. A beard is something that Green Arrow commonly has. He acts like a good Green Arrow. He would probably be a really good pick for Green Arrow. So I could really see us having him as Green Arrow. That would just make sense. Not to mention that James Gunn's a humongous fan of Green Arrow. I think that this would be perfect, where it's just big enough to be like, oh, that's really cool, but not too big where it's like Batman. And so it's like, Chris Pratt as Batman? It's Chris Pratt as Green Arrow, which you would play probably really good. I think they could play really good Green Arrow and all this stuff. It seems like it just seems like it would probably be Green Arrow. And that's my theory for Peacemaker season 2. Maybe there will be cameos from some of the Creature Commandos. I could definitely see that happening due to the fact that Rick Flag Sr.'s here. Amanda Waller will probably cameo. But these are just the main cameos. Maybe even Mr. Terrific. But these are just the main cameos that I think are gonna happen. Who knows? Maybe I'll be completely, proven wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong with this. But who knows? That's the fun part about speculating, and we know that the last 3 episodes contain a lot of spoilers that they didn't want leaked. They even, the press screening, they only showed in the first 5, and then they just stopped. And they've been really gentle with letting out the last 3 episodes, because they don't want it spoiled for people. So there's a lot there that I think that's probably where we're going with it. If I were to guess, that's it. But those are just my theories. There are 1,000 other theories. There are a bunch of theories of who the cameo could be. Like I said, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Lobo, Jon Stewart. Some of them are just nonsensical and don't really make any sense. But Batman, like I said. But who knows? We'll just see. Maybe Chris Pratt will be coming in as Batman, although I highly doubt it. Anyways, those are my that was the video. I'll see you all in the next video. And bye.